What was that trade bomb you had, Isaac?
Um, man, bro, honestly, like, if anybody knows me knows, like, I literally hate Paul George as a basketball player, not as a person. He's overrated. However, he's still an all-star, still a great wing player in this league. But just as far as, the whole playoff P mantra and him, not getting enough, not nearly enough scooping for his lack of, quite frankly, production in the playoffs is just quite baffling to me. But in the grand scheme of things, man, I believe a trade for Russell and maybe some picks and maybe a filler player for Paul George, or maybe just a Paul George for Russ swap may be in order as far as a good fit for our team. And I hate to say that, but I would be opposed to that trade. A Paul George for Russell Westbrook trade, straight up. Maybe with a filler pick and maybe a filler player to, get the contracts aligned up, but
I disagree.
I'm not opposed to that.
Absolutely not.
I disagree.
You want a glorified – exactly.
Get Harold and Capella back.
You gonna ask for a glorified
next? No.
You gonna ask for a glorified Trevor Ariza? Technically, that's what he is. Technically, a glorified Trevor Ariza.
Oh,
Paul George.
Paul George. Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong. He's glorified. He shows up to the glorification, but at the same time, though, when the big shots count, in the playoffs, what are you talking about? He had just as bad of a performance as he did in the playoffs as he did in an elimination game. Warriors versus Rockets. He didn't make any threes.
Man, that's a couple years ago. What have you done for me now? I'm talking about when
what has Paul George done for you now? He was absent in a big playoff game, up 3-1. What are you talking about? That was very big shades of Trevor Ariza, in my opinion, in his prime at that. And Trevor Ariza's past his prime. That's the scary part. Paul George is in his prime. So he's making a performance like that in his prime. Trevor Ariza has, I'm kind of old, I'm kind of dusty. No. You have no excuse. You're supposed to be banging them hoes. You're supposed to be hitting the side of the rim, in the side of the dealio.
I think I would say in terms of like Paul George for Russell Westbrook is I mean, I ain't gonna turn my nose up at it, but I mean, I think for a lot of people who like watched Paul George like this past like NBA bubble, like I think he's left too sour of a taste in people's mouth for them to be like, yeah, let's get Paul George. And like also like I was talking saying, the Rockets having a new head coach and Steven Silas, like we don't necessarily know what the new Rockets are gonna look like. He may like come in and be like, yo, that 3-ball shit is like out. Hey,
he already said more motion, more more off ball movement and everything like that.
Right. So him saying that, like, now the 3-ball situation, like that doesn't play to Russell Westbrook's strengths. So if we can get a little bit of movement and motion and off,
but he don't really shoot to him, man. He averaged like two or three threes a game.
But with the Rockets offense, I think it's fair to say sometimes we fall and find the ball in Westbrook's hands when like we don't.
Because he's open, yeah, you're right. Because he's open.
Because he's open. But if that's not the core of our system, we may find the ball in Westbrook's hand with a play breaker down, and he in his sweet spot on the elbow or having somebody on his hip trying to rock about a baby. So I would hold off on just like making that move until we can really see like, okay, how can Westbrook and Harden like continue to try to grow together in a new system under a new head coach? Because if you instantly throw out, you could throw out Westbrook and trade him and then get Paul George, and like Paul George may just not necessarily like work well with Harden or whatever the new system is for Harden. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I don't like Harden. I think Harden, every like superstar wants somebody to be able to like help them or whatever. But I don't think you can like rid away like that league born like ingratiated chemistry of them like being on the team with each other in like OKC. Whereas if you try to bring in Paul George, like I think Paul George has like that luxury to like get his rocks off with the Clippers because like Kawhi is like Kawhi. Like Kawhi ain't about like, yeah, he the best player, but like Kawhi ain't just to like fight you or be like, nah, like these are my shots. Like if you bring Paul George over there, like
on the contrary, he has been vocal in meetings saying he is that guy. His job is to score, and your job is to score when he passes it to you. So
you said he the best player on the Clippers, right?
Yeah, Paul.
Kawhi,
Not Paul George, Kawhi.
Okay. No.
Yeah,
I thought you said he's the best player. I was like.
but like to bring him over to the Rockets with them about to be under a new regime, like I don't know, like when Harden get him the ball, like I just don't. Paul George not that dude, bro. I know you said like he a great player. I found it. I think the word great player is like used like too loosely.
He's a very good player. He's an all-star.
He an all-star. I don't know if he an all-star. He an all-star. Okay,
not guaranteed.
He's not a guaranteed all-star. But so that's how I feel about the Rockets. I think give us some time to see. NBA starts in December. Let's see how the Rockets and James Harden and Westbrook work together under this new system. And within that new system, maybe trades do need to be made because Steven Silas' system may require him to have some bigs and not be playing small ball with the roster that D'Antoni had.